Hello and welcome people to a redo of the Forbidden Siren 2, a playthrough that I
What are you
done like
what are you talking about? This is the first time we've ever played this game.
yeah, no, I totally didn't abandon this after my hard drive got wiped when I was 70% done with the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that never happened.
Daddy,
Uh-huh.
your job is looking for treasure, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm really good at that too. I found lots of treasure today.
Is that right? So, shall we go treasure hunting tomorrow?
Yeah. I wish Kanai could play outside with us too.
Good night, Shu.
Night. Daddy? Daddy? Kanai?
So this is Forbidden Siren, and as you could see, my analog stick was not calibrated yet. You don't really play it in first person for the most part, although you can. And here's one of our first archive items. This game has a total of 100 of them. Some of them are actually required for progression, and others are just extra stuff. You do have to collect all of them if you want to see all of the endings. And I am going to be collecting all of them just sort of as I am going through the game, just to make everything very efficient.
Daddy! Wake up, Daddy!
Mission accomplished. Daddy dead.
Good job.
Thanks for helping me out.
Yeah, well, we were going there anyway.
Oh, I see.
And a lot of the archive items also just get added automatically once you progress through the story. So you don't actually find 100 of these, it's more like probably 50 or less. And this is our actual first stage, where we play as our basically main character. So one of the big improvements that this game has over its predecessor, Forbidden Siren 1, is that the hint system that appears at the start of the stage, or just like in general throughout the stage, is much more helpful than what the original game was. Where in the original game you just get very, very vague hints as to what you're supposed to do, and in this one they just straight up tell you exactly what you need to do. You still have to you still have a little bit of trouble when it comes to finding archive items and items that allow progression to the mission 2 variants of various stages. But those, thankfully, well, the mission 2 items, they appear in your map as a hint once you have completed the stage once. They are already there, they just don't tell you where they are on the first visit. And yeah, generally you have to you can collect the archive items generally on both the mission 1 and the mission 2 variants of a given mission. Sometimes it's just more convenient to do it on the one or another. There are some exceptions to it, but generally it's better to collect the items on mission 1 variants, because those tend to be less difficult.
So, judging by the voice acting in this game, this takes place in the Harry Potter universe, right? This game.
Well, thankfully, unlike the first one, this one wasn't voiced by the British. But they actually seem to have hired a cast of Asian speakers in order to do the voices, which
Nice.
is a huge improvement over the first one, where they were like, Professor Crumpets, like tea time. That's my best impression of Forbidden Siren 1. But no, this one, you actually also have Japanese voice acting if you don't like English voices for some reason, but I mean, why wouldn't you want this?
That's another thing too. Like, I make fun, but I do think the voice acting in this game actually is legit good.
I think so too, and I think it's I just like I don't know, I just really like the approach, because it feels like one of those, it fits with the atmosphere, in my opinion, and especially since once you get to the archive items, you sort of notice that there is a certain trend when it comes to the tone of this game, and I think that the voices match it perfectly.
Yeah, no, that's something I definitely give props to this game too. Like, right away, the atmosphere is like thick as molasses, like all-encompassing in your face, and that's something you really need for like a horror game, you know?
Yes, and it is a very unusual type of horror game, because, well, you don't get to see it quite yet, but essentially each stage in Forbidden Siren, both 1 and 2, is essentially like an arcade stage. It's very different from Silent Hill, which, well, in case you don't know, the Forbidden Siren is actually made by the creator of the first Silent Hill. Sony scouted them for in order to make another franchise, and well, they gave them full.
Hey, are you alright?
What? Where?
Are you hurt?
What is it?
I see what's going on. Stay here and keep hidden.
But yeah, what I was gonna say is, this game is made by the creator of Silent Hill, but it is a very different style of game. It doesn't actually have any resource management.
He's after me. Please, help.
Each stage is basically like its own sort of little arcade stage, and thankfully they also come with a shitload of checkpoints. Basically anything you accomplish, like find an item for a given sub-objective, it makes a checkpoint. Although it's in most cases you're still better off continuing as you are playing without using checkpoints if you can help it, because unless a certain item like a weapon was a requirement for completing a stage, it will not be carried over after you reset a checkpoint. So if you picked up a rifle or something from an enemy, which you can do, it will not be in your inventory if you reset a checkpoint and the rifle was not a requirement for completing a stage. So there's pros and cons to it. In some stages it is actually much easier to reset a checkpoint in order to make sure that certain enemies are in exact same positions as what you would predict them, because with all of their pathing and so forth, it can get very unpredictable where who is. But yeah, this is a tutorial stage, but it does illustrate pretty well how the hint system works. It will not stop you at every moment like it does here to do an action, but it does tell you, like, you need to do this, you need to do that. You may be thinking, you may be also thinking, like, why does it? How do the characters even know that they're supposed to do this kind of thing? There is actually an in-universe explanation to this, and I'll just wait for the game to get to it, because it's actually kind of neat. But yeah, we have our lady friend, Kanai. There is absolutely nothing suspicious about her. Nothing at all.
Hand, please.
I'm gonna call it. The twist is that this was a computer simulation the whole time, and that we were actually being controlled by Universal Voice, who gave us a dragon companion so we could save the world.
Not quite, but I mean, there's a certain thing about her. She doesn't like the flashlight. She doesn't like a flashlight. It's kind of a red flag.
To be fair, would you like if a flashlight was shone directly into your eyes?
Sergeant Okta! Okta! Please don't die!
As of 2136, there is a state of emergency. From now on, I will be commanding. Prepare to move out.
Yes, sir!
You may have noticed that the subtitles don't often don't match what they're saying. I think the subtitles are basically translation of the Japanese version, and the English voice acting is a completely different thing.
He's already dead. Get up. I understand how you feel, but this isn't a TV drama. We need to move if we want to save ourselves. Let's go.
And so we get introduced to our third playable character. This is Yorito, and his missions are, well, range from some of the most difficult to some of the easiest, because he is actually armed.
Open fire, Private.
What?
Shoot to disable.
But why?
Now fire. I just gave you an order. This isn't a training drill.
Yeah, so now they're introducing us to shooting, which is why the enemy is nice enough to wait before they turn us into Swiss cheese.
I also gotta say too, the face mapping in this game is pretty good too.
Yes, this is another very interesting thing. The first game also had this, which was one of its most unique features. They used actors to basically make animations of faces. And in the first game they had a lot less frame rate, like those looked better in the pre-rendered FMVs, and in engine cutscenes they were a little bit goofy. However, in this one they did a really good job, because they also actually modeled more of the face, aside from just putting the texture on there. So yeah, the flashlight in this game is sort of a double-edged sword, kind of like how it is in all of the Silent Hill games. Because, well, using a flashlight means that you see, but using a flashlight also means that the enemy can see you as well. Of course, turning the brightness up helps to see better. But also you need to be careful, because your characters will whiff their shots more frequently if you don't have the flashlight on. It doesn't seem to affect your physical attacks, but yeah, the shooting definitely is a lot less accurate without the flashlight on. Thankfully, our damn it, I completely forgetting his name right now. I'm going to yes, Misawa. He is actually very helpful in this mission. One thing to know about the supporting AI, they are actually pretty damn aggressive, especially if you give them a gun. And, best of all, they don't run out of ammo. But yeah, the faces are pretty interesting, and you can also see the actual actors in the main menu.
Are you okay? Sit here. He's gone now. You don't have a cell phone, do you? Mine doesn't seem to work here. I see. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait until morning.
My mom.
Huh?
She's being confined in this island.
Eh? What did you say?
I have to rescue her as soon as I can. I have to. And he said he'd help me, but...
Wait a minute. What do you mean? Did you go to the police?
Please, will you believe me? No one will help me. You're the only one.
Creepy. And this is another playable characters. There's a lot of them. Not all of them have equal amount of missions, but they're all interesting in their own way.
Police headquarters, please respond. Oh. Oh no. I bet even a pay cut won't save me this time. What have I done? Sorry to let you down, Asako.
Fujita has probably some of the most expressive facial animations. Yes, you can only hold up to 2 weapons up until now. This hasn't really come up because there was no way to pick up more.
Than I expected.
And here's the first objective. We can go to guardhouse. They want us to pick up a guardhouse key, which we can do, but we don't have to. Some of the objectives can be sort of like skimmed over in a way. Since essentially if a door has a window, you can break the window and then open it from the inside. Which is a very nice mechanic, because it does have its drawbacks. If there's any enemies nearby and you're trying to sneak by, well, that's shattering glass definitely isn't going to help you. But if you're willing to take that risk in order to not have to deal with picking up a key, then yeah, absolutely go for it. And in some situations, that's also the only way you can do it. But yeah, this is an example how most other stages are gonna function. You get sub-targets, go to the steel door, and nicely enough, the game does actually refer specifically to locations present on your minimap. Don't you just fucking hate it whenever you have a game where they're like, oh, go to the plip-plap, and where the fuck is the plip-plap? I only see the clickle-clue. You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I really hate it when games tell me to pick up Piplup. I mean, why use anything other than Chimchar, really?
Yeah, I mean, if you really hate yourself, you just pick up the Turtwig.
What's this?
See what I mean about his facial animations?
Yeah, he's an expressive dude.
But yeah, here we get proper introduced to these little assholes. I completely forget what their name is, but they come in an evolved form later on. They are annoying, but also very volatile. Essentially, if you shine your flashlight long enough on them, they explode. but you can get very easily overwhelmed by them, and seemingly they also spawn endlessly. That's something that's completely different from a Shibito. Shibito is the zombie type that is present in Forbidden Siren games. These little clouds also have ability to revive Shibito, which is bad.
You alright?
I was so lonely. For such a long time, I was waiting. Waiting for someone to help me. Someone to become one with me.
No! Who's there?
Who are you? What are you doing here?
We're saved. No! Hey, are you okay?
What's the matter with her?
Hey, hey, stop that! Can't you see she doesn't like it? What do you think you're doing? Stop it, will you? Major Miso! Look! There!
Yes, we'll save at this point. And man, that girl is...
What a cut.
Man, that girl is touchy. Like, Jesus Christ. It's not even the first date. But yeah, we'll continue this in the next part.